It's a lot happening in the market. As of this morning, last night I was checking my portfolio and I saw a record performance, but from the negative. Decline in the market, 8%. My portfolio was down nothing less than that in just one single day. What did I do next? I had to leave there and just went to YouTube to binge watch some other things just to ease myself off the pressure of the market. And I'm sure a lot of investors are experiencing that right now. That's why we come here on Market Watch, brought to you by Nairametrics Television. It's a crazy day in the market. 4.6 trillion naira wiped off the market as of yesterday. How do you navigate your way around such dump? Are we catching a falling knife? We're going to be having all these conversations in this episode of Market Watch. And also we're going to be taking a look at what is happening regarding the undervalued stocks. How do you approach the markets, knowing fully well that we're experiencing the 4.6 trillion naira wipeout? How is the market navigating its way? Then, on the final notes, there's a battle. Seplat and Oando, who is a clash of strategies and market execution. All this conversation on this episode. Idikaja and Mohammed Mukhtar. What is your take about the market? 4.6 trillion naira wiped out in one single day, 15 years record. And it looks like there's a bloodbath in the market. Everybody, people saying FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt, just because of policies.
You see,
you got the answer with that deep breath. You get that, Christy.
The market is not a straight line. The market is like the life of a man. Things come, things happen, and then you need to also begin to re-strategize. The market are made up of different type of investors. You have people that are investors. You have people that are speculators. You have people that are traders. So it depends on where you are when there is a panic. If you're a trader, you feel your money is all gone. If you're an investor, you say, wow, this is an opportunity for me to make money in the long term. If you're a trader, if you're a speculator, you say you got your fingers burned. What next can you speculate on? So it depends on where you are. But again, we also need to know something. Policies are keys to drive stability in the market. But policy alone will not keep the market. Now, let me give you why I'm saying like that.
Please do.
The fundamentals of the Nigerian economy and the fundamentals of the stocks needed in the exchange are still very, very strong. But now look at what policy is doing to the market. Same thing if policy is very weak, fundamental is strong. If fundamental is very weak, policy is strong. So there must be a relationship between both of them to have a good, thriving market. Now, why is the market what it is today? People like NGX have already attributed this long time. Last week, he wrote an episode on how the capital gain tax is going to affect the market. And we are now seeing that playing out real time in the market because policymakers have refused to look at the capital gain tax. I said it's like a child, you are 1 year old, and they are telling you to run. At 1, you struggle to run, but eventually you run. Your child is born today. Your child will go through processes before he gets to stand, before he gets to crawl, before he gets to walk.
True.
You have not taxed this sector before, and the first time you want to tax it, you are taxing it 30%. Then there is no clarity. Capital gain tax, where will it start from? Until yesterday, when the tax committee, presidential begin to come out with tweet and begin to say it's not retrogressive, it's going to start in 2026. You will not tax me for what I've held until 2020. From all the body language we're getting was that they were going to tax us no matter how long you have held the stock. Immediately you are exiting, they will tax that stock.
Very true.
That was what was being traded. No time will be, I don't know, Njika will correct me there, whether there was any time that they came out practically to us openly to say pension fund administrator, institutional investors will not be affected with capital gain tax. We are just hearing that now. So clarity is what the market needed at that point. But that clarity did not come until the market has had the bloodbath that you said. And that for me is very, very unfortunate because I remember this chairman of the committee saying that he have discussed with investors, both foreign and local. They are excited about the capital gain tax, But today, he knows the truth. The market is telling him what really the capital gain tax. Nobody is saying they won't want to pay tax. They should. Everybody is ready to pay tax.
Yeah.
But there must be a human angle to every taxation. You can't just tax me from 0 to 30. And then you are retrogressive. You are going to start. I bought a stock at one naira, and today that stock is 10 naira. You are going to avoid that stock for 10 years. You are going to tax me based on that. In developed economies, in developed markets, the longer you hold your equity, the lower tax you are going to pay, whether capital gain or other. But if you are a short-term player, a trader, you are even paying higher taxes for trading in the short term. These are policies that we need to look at. In sub-Saharan Africa, we are going to be the highest market with highest capital gain tax of 30%. Remember, again, we are striking to get foreign investors into our economy.
Very true.
They are the ones that have kept the naira to where it is today, because oil price is very low, not even up to government benchmark. So inflow that you are celebrating the stability of the exchanges was largely driven by portfolio investors in the capital market. Have you really engaged them? So I'm happy that they are coming out with a lot of clarity. Hopefully that clarity will move us to the next level. But again, it's something, the problem with policymakers in Nigeria. After you have come out with a decision, after you have signed it into law, you are now engaging us. Why not engage us before we get to this point?
Edika, Mukhtar just said right now that you're a prophet because you saw all of this coming with your article. What did you see before now? What made you write that article saying that is going to affect the market? What did you see?
Yeah, thank you very much, Frank. You know, most of these things we write, they are data driven.
Yeah.
So we go to the archives, look at what has happened, and then I did that. Look at the NGX reports from January to August. Look at what happened in terms of foreign participation, what we have done, what we have achieved, and like I said, most of these things are controlled by policies. If the policies are okay, foreign investors will come in. If they are not okay, they will leave. As simple as that. Because if I bring in my money and the environment is not conducive for me, definitely I will leave. Like let me learn to what Mukhtar just said.
Yes, please do.
I think everything is becoming clearer now. Well, let me take the one because I read, if you go to Nairametrics website, you see most of these positions there. I read to the man in charge of this tax reform. I think Oyewale or something.
Oyedele.
He said, gave an example on how they are going to tax. For instance, assuming you bought maybe Zenith Bank at 20 naira, beginning of 2025, and by the end of 2025, he has added another 10 naira. Let me say about let's say 30 naira. You bought at 20, he has added 10 naira.
Yeah.
Now, coming to 2026, when the tax regime will become effective, that they are not going to tax that 10 naira you've gained.
What are they going to tax then?
What they are going to tax is that from that 2026, January 2026, I mean that the share price now increases by another 10%.
Okay.
That is the difference of...
Yes, Ndika, I agree with you. Not cutting you short.
Yeah.
But that clarity only came...
That's exactly what I'm saying. That they are coming out with
information is actually very powerful.
Out with that clarity.
Yeah.
Even yesterday, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Economy, I think at the Minister of Finance incorporated the listing of real estate investment trust fund.
Yeah.
$1 trillion.
REIF. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just quote him what he said yesterday.
Please do.
Because the stockbrokers, the capital market operators, the stockbrokers, they equally complained about this CGT.
Yeah.
Let me just quote him. He said, "We have heard what we have said on capital gains tax. We will consult in a way that gives Nigeria an optimal result. We will listen, analyze, and decide on what is best for Nigeria and for our market. And do a short capital stakeholders." That was yesterday.
And what did you get? What did you see the applause?
You would listen.
Did you see the applause?
Yeah. You saw
did you see the applause? You saw the joy.
Yeah.
But again, my problem is, why are you listening now?
Why did you
listen since before passing into? Why did you engage us? We are the market players. They are in the market. They know what it is. You are a policy maker. You look at your environment. Remember, Ndika, This was the same thing that was going to play out in the FS game. With the banking sector.
Yes. True. It's
the same thing. Meanwhile, CBN said, don't pay dividend from your FS gain. The Nigerian tax lobby was saying, we will tax your FS gain. What's it?
Foreign exchange revaluation gain.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mokhtar. It's always good, even when you want to dish out these policies, it's always good to look at it holistically, look at at least what you stand to get. Even the floating of the Naira has its impact too. If you check 2023 and check what revenue government made from corporate organizations and check 2024, even 2025, you see the real impact. Because you cannot be declaring losses and still paying taxes to government. It's not possible.
Very true.
So now, even if you you just take MTN for instance, look at what they paid
in 2023,
2024, and even in 9 months 2025, and see that even government is benefiting. The policy you bring will equally affect government. So that is just the thing. So when you decide, you have to look at it, consider everything, how it affects, even government. Not only the other, apart from our other stakeholders, even government.
When I saw the tweet, you know what came to my mind? I remember what you said during our last our previous session, and you said, Frank, you see them suspending the CGT. And it looks like we're towing that part. And I was like, what? Did you get an intel? Did you get an intel?
No, he said it on Monday.
Yes, he said
it on Monday. That he's even sure.
Yeah.
He was very confident is telling him that this thing is not going to
and his instinct has never failed
him. And look at the Minister of Finance just saying that we're listening to you.
Because again, you don't, it's not rocket science, Indica. It's not rocket science, Frank. To look at a policy clear-cut in the eyes and say, how does this policy work? You know, something I used to say, we do copy and paste. I used to say that, and I come to say it. It's like when the war was on rate hike. They were looking at the peculiarity of their environment to hike rate. Nigeria, we joined them in rate hike. We're not looking at the peculiarity of our environment that by the time you hike rate, our smaller business, the key driver of the economy will suffer.
Of course, will suffer.
We didn't look at that. We're thinking that they are hiking rate because of supply destruction. You are hiking rate to kill your most productive sector. So that for me has always been the challenge. Copy and paste. Yeah. Somebody is doing capital gain tax. Even when you look at it, the South Africa, they are doing 27%. The other sub-Saharan Africa, India, they are doing between 0 to 35%. Look at it, 0 to 35. That means there are parameters.
Yeah, very true.
You just came up and said, capital gain tax, 30%. Meanwhile, you said your own government bond, tax-free.
No, but how you tax government bond?
I'm just saying, no. Yeah, then later you came back, you said people will now start paying tax on fixed income instrument. Do you know they came out with that? Yeah. FIRS. With that one it's with immediate effect. How you attract? Look, Singapore today is one of the most developed economies in the world. It was driven through the capital markets.
Sure.
It was driven through the capital market, whereby every Singaporean that was in the public service was made to own a share in a particular company for the long term. And today, they are one of the wealthiest nation in the world. And that wealth is not only passing to them, it's passing to their citizens. Because of the investment that the government put in there when they were moving them from a developing economy to a developed economy. Now we are saying we want to be among the best economy in the world. How much of your people are you moving towards going in that direction with you? Rather than just having bigger company and poorer people. We must begin to think. We are thinking of listing Dangote, one of the largest refineries in the world. And then you are telling me that when I make some gain in Dangote, I want to keep Dangote for a very long time. By the time I'm exiting Dangote, you collect capital tax. How has that helped to develop me, to create wealth for me?
Very true.
We need to look at things and have a woman face. Taxes within globally has gone beyond tax for revenue. Taxes are now beginning to use as tool to grow your economy, not just to earn revenue to government, but bring in big players to create employment. That is what taxes are all being used these days for. It's just like when you see government saying we are going to construct road, coastal road, this road, and you begin to ask yourself, do you align to what is happening globally? Globally, government is becoming partner with the private sector.
Yeah.
No, because government have realized that their resources is too scarce for them to be involved in construction or infrastructure or this. So they partner with private sector while government concentrate on key areas, education and health care, social investment. Why are we always different? We need to begin to look. If we want to be the best in the world, let's do what the best in the world does.
Do you think this thing can lead us to the $1 trillion economy that this administration is really talking about? But even I'm not going to ask him. Even beyond that, the question that I want to ask is: let's leave the regulators alone now. Let's talk about the investors. What do you think investors should do at this point in time? Because what makes a great sailor is in storm, not when the whole place is calm.
Yeah.
So what do you think sailors who are investors in this context, what should they do at this point in time? Should they buy the dip? Is there more dip? Are we catching the falling knife? Or what exactly?
This is where the quote of the great Warren Buffett comes to play.
Yeah. He gave his final thoughts 2 days ago.
So Warren Buffett would say, the stock market take money from the impatient and gives to the patient. So the dip, how deep is the dip?
I agree with him. The summary of the whole thing is that you as an investor, this time, you have to redefine yourself.
Exactly. You hit it.
Redefine yourself.
You have to redefine.
What do you want?
How deep is the deep?
How deep is the one? What do you actually want? Are you, because you know where
I want to make money.
You want to make money. Like Mukta really, shortly before we started this show, you have arbitragers, you have speculators, you have a short term, you have a long term. So you have to redefine yourself as an investor. What do I really want? Am I going for a longer term or a short term? I just want to trade. If you're just a speculator, you want to trade, fine. You can still find your space there. Yeah. But if you want to hold it for a long time, well, that is still okay, and that is where you now start talking of maybe buying the dip. Because of the drop in prices, which has really lowered valuation of some of these companies. Yeah. So this might be an opportunity for you to go in. Zenith Bank is trading at 54 right now. And Zenith Bank was even targeting 100 naira, getting to 100 naira about a few weeks ago.
Access got to 20.
Yeah, asset has even
went to 1990 before it closed at 20.
I think it's about another, what is it going now, about 77 or thereabout. So,
there was only Okomu that I know that
the GTB closed at 77.
The palm oil stocks, they didn't
drop much.
They didn't drop.
No,
those guys, what's happening?
They dropped.
They didn't drop that much. It was
it didn't drop that much.
Why? Talking about didn't drop that much. FCMB did not drop by much. First holding has not dropped.
Oh.
And even Seplat gained 10% in October.
Yeah.
But because this thing, we are talking of November.
Yeah, very true.
MTN lost close to 1 trillion. I think about over 900 billion.
Very true.
Over 900 billion. But she has a very solid year-to-date gain.
Exactly.
Yeah, she has a very solid year-to-date gain.
So, like you said, it's all about your investment goals.
Define yourself. What do you want? You understand? Redefine yourself. This is not the time for you to
for people like Indika, the fundamental people.
Yeah, the fundamental guy.
This is the time.
This is the time. We'll do valuation and look at you.
For short time and traders like Frank.
Yeah, but even at that now, even at that, it's not as if that the market is not active. That's what you have to ask yourself.
Yeah,
it's not as if that the market is not active. People are selling. People are buying.
People are shorting.
Exactly. That's the beauty.
That's the beauty. You want to sell, you are afraid. I can buy from you.
Indika has bought a lot from them.
I can buy from you. You want to sell, no problem. Give me, because I'm sure I know what I'm doing. I know that these stocks, okay, maybe it's just an issue of uncertainty, and I know that it will come up. So it depends on your mind. How risk tolerant are you?
Another part that will never go down.
Another part we're not even looking at is the message we're passing to potential foreign investors that anything can happen policy somersault without consulting the stakeholders.
I don't want to
Don't
say...
you think that...
No,
policy somersault.
It's not policy somersault.
It's not policy somersault. It's lack of clarity on policy movement.
Yes.
That's just it.
You weren't certain. You have come out clearly and say clearly as this is what it is.
Nobody
then
saying...
engage the stakeholders.
Exactly.
Do everything. Everybody will be on the same lane. Then
I don't think it's policy somersault. It's about clarity.
It's not about clarity. You don't bring uncertainty into stock markets. Otherwise,
especially not taxing. Even as a normal businessman is looking, they say there are two ways in them. Tax avoidance and tax evasion is different.
True.
Tax avoidance is legal. Tax evasion is illegal.
It's illegal, yeah, true. So let us talk about some undervalued stocks. Which of them do you see in the midst of this chaos? Which of the stocks do you think is really undervalued? Let me ask the man of the numbers.
The man with the numbers.
You can't really say maybe I was expecting that, okay, now at this point we are now, because we are trying to bring this thing together and educate the public. Now what has happened. And things are going this way. Then as an investor, because the essence of the whole thing, like Mukhtar really said, is it's not the market noise. It's not what they are saying, okay, this one has gone down to 78 naira, this one gone down to 5,000 naira. The issue that what is the true worth of what we are buying? That is the key thing. And that is where the issue of undervaluation or undervalue stock comes.
Can you take that again? I think people need to listen to that. Just face the camera and explain that. What is the true worth of what you're buying?
Yes.
That's really fundamental.
Okay, let's look at it this way. Now, let's take Okumo.
Okay.
Okumo is trading at, I think that's 1,101. That is the market noise. That is the market price.
Yeah.
Now, when you now do evaluation on Okumo, using the at least the market's metrics.
Yeah.
You do evaluation on Okumo, and Okumo is trading what we call the intrinsic value. Intrinsic value shows the real worth of an asset or a stock. Even you, Frank, as an individual, you have to value yourself. What is your worth? What is your intrinsic value? Not what people think that you are or you are worth.
Yeah, true.
Your intrinsic value, you look at all your assets and liabilities and value them and say, okay, this is what Frank. This is the worth of Frank. The same thing with stock. So when you value it, and for Okumo, assuming we'll get like 1,200 against the market price of 1,110.
Yeah.
Now you now see that it has an intrinsic value of about 90 naira.
Yeah, true.
Which you calculate, give and take, to give you an upside of about 8%. You can see now that the stock somehow can be said it is undervalued relative to the market price. So for value investors, okay, fine. Because if you go to the market and somebody is giving you something that is selling something that is 100 naira, and you know that thing is not up to 100 naira, that is when you start bargaining. So no, this thing is not up to 100 naira. And if at the end of it, maybe you bought at 50 naira, above what maybe the actual price should have been 80 naira, have you not made a bargain?
What makes it undervalued?
Valued now is somehow relative. It's somehow,
perception.
Yeah, it's not perception. It's somehow relative because there are metrics you can decide, you can use to know that a stock is undervalued or overvalued. There are different methods. You have what we use, discounted cash flow method. Look at the cash flow of the company, discount it to the present value to actually get, and terminal value to actually get. If you match it and see what is trading, what is the market value, now determine whether it is overvalued or not. You can use a dividend discount model for those stocks that pay dividends.
Okay.
Then the traditional one which we use every day is what we call price to earning ratio. And which is somehow, we call it all of them, earning multiples, price to earning ratio, price to book ratio, price to sell ratio. Now, that one is relative. You can only measure it sector-wise, historical-wise. So if we are looking for Zenith Bank maybe is trading, if Zenith Bank is trading at price to earning ratio of 2.15, it means that for every 1 naira in Zenith Bank's earning, investors are paying 2 naira 15 kobo. You cannot use that in alone.
Yes.
You have to compare it with the industry average.
Yes, true.
Is that 2.1 let's say 2.15x higher or lower than the industry average
of the banking
sector. I
Yeah.
think it's about 2.82.
Yes.
So if it is, which is lower, so you can now say that Zenith Bank is undervalued relative to EPS. So that's a good point. That's when we say that stock is undervalued. Then you now discount other factors. Zenith Bank is one of the most profitable banks now.
Yeah.
It's doing very well. So if the fundamentals are okay and you have this type of evaluation, then you can now assume that the Zenith Bank is undervalued relative to other banks. So what do you know? You take a position despite what is happening.
Yeah.
So if I'm an investor, I look at it, I can take a position. That's why you see the market still active.
Yeah, very true.
Because not like Mukta. The Mukta, they will like that, look at it. So you now look at it and say, okay, let me take a position there.
Yeah.
And so that's how you decide. But the other factors, but for just briefly for other
sectors,
for other like investors, retail investors that don't really maybe might not have the time to start calculating this thing. At least you have
people like NGX. It makes it look very elementary.
Yeah. So that one you can look at what we call analyst recommendations. They are there.
Exactly. Read. He's trying to be very humble. Go to Nairametrics. Read NGX. Right up. One of the best in the. I'm not speaking. One of the best in the land.
Yeah.
When it comes to his write up, very, very simplified to the lowest of investor.
Yeah.
Nairametrics page, Nairametrics television.
Yes.
Indica is just
you go to Nairametrics, follow the money, subscribe there. You see there. You see even stockbrokers too.
Yeah.
You have to you have an account now.
Very
Your
true.
stockbrokers, especially those ones that have online trading platform.
Yeah.
And when you log in, you can see even their recommendations
and reviews.
So that's another faster way instead of getting yourself involved in calculation, which might give you problem. Unless
you know book like Indica.
No, unless you engage me as a financial advisor, then you have to charge you.
Yeah. Oando, Seplat, clash of strategies. Which of them do you think is performing better?
Very tough question.
Yeah.
Very, very tough.
Well, rounding off.
Because again, when I say very tough, is because when you look at the two players, they are practically doing the same thing.
Yeah.
They are practically the same model operandi, their business, their market. But when you look at strategy, I think one is looking at, I used to be a player in Nigeria. Mm-hmm. I think in this Nigerian space now I can't compete very favorable. Mm-hmm. I want to exploit other view outside the shore. Let me take controlling in refinery in other part of the world so that I can move my crude from Nigeria and I refine it from that. I supply to that angle. Here you have one. He's saying, I believe in this economy. I'm buying assets here. I believe from here we can move. And I'm not going to play the downstream sector. I'm just going to be the upstream player, sell my crude to whether to Dangote refinery. So it's all about the size. Then as an investor, you look at it. Where is Oando? Where is Seplat? They are almost doing the same thing. Which one will have a longer value for me in terms of where if I have to invest now?
Yeah.
If I have to, even if my wait will be long, how long and when I'm waiting, what will be the return? If I buy Seplat today at 5,000 naira, in 5 years' time, will Seplat be 10,000 naira? If I buy Oando today at 54 naira, in 5 years' time, will Oando be 100 naira?
Very important question.
Okay.
Seplat has paid dividend, huge dividend. Recently, they paid huge dividend.
What do you mean by huge? Sometimes when people talk about this huge.
Significant. Okay, let me say significant dividend. And if you look at it, $167 per share. If you look at Oando, in the last decade, they've not paid dividend. Let's use that analysis to determine which of them would you, I don't want to say recommend, but which side of the pendulum do you swing towards?
Well, if we are basing it on dividend payouts.
Yeah, because
dividend payout, which is normal.
Yeah, Nigerian investors are driven by dividend.
Is normal. Even in capital gain too, I think Seplat has so far has gained about 3.81%, which is moderated. They were not doing very well moving into October, but they just have a very big, strong rally in October. That's about 10% in October. That's brought them up to 3.81%. On the other hand, I think Oando has lost about 40% year to date.
Yeah.
Now, if you come to dividend payments, yes, Oando has not paid dividend at least for the past 10 years. But Seplat, in short, is the leading dividend payer on NGX right now.
Yeah.
For the first 9 months of 2025, at least for the 2025 financial year, they have paid about 67 cents, amounting to about 152 billion. And they have, one thing I like them is that they have a target of what they want to do in terms of dividends, so which they are doing. So as a less risk tolerant investor, it's better for you to hold Seplat. But my challenge there, like Muta really pointed out, is the value of the stock, which is about I think about 5,600. No, 719.20 kobo, which is high. So before you can even buy up to 10,000 units, you know how much you must have spent. But aside that, you ask in terms of performance. I think if you look at their results, if you look at their results, Seplat is doing better. It's far better than them. Like you already mentioned, one is deriving his profit from trading. The other one is deriving from exploration. Seplat is deriving from exploration. The other one is deriving more or less from trading. That is the downstream. But two of them, at least, they have the license as an upstream players. But this one is utilizing his own. No, not that Oando is not doing. No, Oando is doing, because this one I think is POEBD. You understand? Moved from, I think, from 53 million to about 135,000. So you can see the growth. This one, the growth is muted. I think where Oando equally has problem is the balance sheet. It's highly leveraged compared to Seplat. So overall, Seplat is doing better than Oando.
It's a very, very important way to end the show. I'm reiterating what Mukhtar Mohammed said regarding the best advice coming from the number one investor in the world, Warren Buffett. He's always said, and I'm not going to say it, I will allow Mukhtar Mohammed to say it, to end the show with that advice, the golden advice of patience.
The stock market take money from the impatient and give to the patient.
Yeah. Mukhtar.
Can you say it again?
The stock market takes money from the impatient and gives to the patient.
So that means you have to wait.
Meaning that you have to wait. In the midst of chaos, make sure you have a fine balance between patience and impatience. Find yourself being patient in the midst of storm. That's the way to navigate this tide, especially knowing fully well that this policy, this issue around CGT is what is really moving the market. But then we'll keep you abreast every Mondays, Wednesdays. We have these conversations regarding the market. This was brought to you by Nairametrics Television. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Cheers.